message affirmation this morning: attuned to divine wisdom, I know what is mine to do. I know that I refer a lot to Unity, the Unity School of Christianity. They're another New Thought faith, and of course, our own faith mirrors those so closely that we often use a lot of their materials in our talks. And they have their booklet, The Daily Word, and you've probably heard of that at some point in your life. So they give like a weekly affirmation. In addition to the daily word in the front of it, there's a weekly affirmation. And so this was the affirmation for this week. And I thought this was very appropriate because over the last several weeks, I have been talking about us as people, as New Thought students, being attuned to God and knowing that God is with us and within us in every situation, and not doubting the things that we do, and when we are faced with a challenging circumstance or situation, to realize that we aren't alone in this process. So knowing that and building on what we've been talking about these last several weeks, that we do attune ourselves to this divine wisdom. This divine wisdom is with us, within us, and we attune ourselves to that through our affirmations and through prayer and through scripture reading. And it can be a lot of different things for different people, how you align yourself with that divine spirit. So understanding that we are able to become attuned to this divine wisdom, it's also important to know what is mine to do, what is ours to do, what it is that we're to do in life. And an important thing, and important certainly to New Thought students, is to know that we embrace the fact that we are prospered, that we are destined for great health, that we are destined for perfect and divine relationships with our families and our friends and our co-workers and our neighbors. Usually every Sunday morning, and sometimes I feel so guilty because I don't want to be plagiarizing other people, but on Sunday morning as I'm getting ready and starting to putter around the house, I'll put on the television, and one of the people I like to watch is Joel Osteen. He's a little, if anybody's seen him, they're a little more fundamental than we are, but a lot of what they talk about is very New Thought. And actually, if you look at a lot of very popular ministers these days, especially televangelists, a lot of them are very New Thought centered, which just tells me we had it right and they're finally getting on board. So then sometimes I don't feel bad. I'm not plagiarizing. He took it from us in the first place. But he had this wonderful analogy today about the challenges in life, and he was talking about if you're a boat, imagine that you're a boat and you're on the water, you're going along and there's water all around you for miles and miles and miles. It's okay because you're on the boat. The thing is, don't start to let the water in. So the analogy is that we, the boat, there are all around you going to be these problems, these circumstances and situations that you don't have any control over. A diagnosis you don't want, an ill relationship with somebody, or, a challenge with your prosperity. All of that's out there, and it's going to be out there. But when you start letting it come into you and affect your being one or attuned with divine wisdom, then you got a problem. Then you're going to sink. So all of those things can be out there, but you, the vessel, don't let that be part of you. You stay attuned with the divine. You stay attuned in the ways that we talk about, through meditation or through affirmations, through just positive thinking. When this situation or circumstance arises, picture yourself as a boat, as a vessel, in even a stormy, choppy sea, but know that you're not going to let any of that water get in. Those things are happening all around you. And the reality is, unfortunately, there's always going to be challenging circumstances and situations. And as Pastor Mike used to say, if you don't have any problems yet, don't worry, they'll come to you soon enough. But imagine yourself as this vessel, and you're not letting that in. It's out there, but you're fine because you are attuned with this divine within. You are attuned with God, and you are empowered with all things that God meant for you to have. He meant for us to have lives of great health, great happiness, and great prosperity. And that is yours, and it is mine. It's all of ours, as long as we remember to stay attuned to the divine wisdom. Don't let yourself get worried and bogged down and chewed up with the worry and the concern and the anxiety. It was interesting because another thing that was mentioned is the very true reality that when we're anxious and upset and worried, it's not good for our immune system. Our immune system isn't functioning well. We're not sleeping as well. I mean, if you're laying at bed at night awake, tossing and turning because you're worried about how am I going to pay this bill, or oh my gosh, my follow-up visit to the doctor, or what am I going to do about my neighbor, my coworker, my in-laws, you're not getting any sleep. You're weakening yourself as a person. And if you're not being the best that you can be, you can't stay as attuned to the divine as you should be. So again, letting all this stuff in, that is just letting water in. You're just letting your vessel slowly fill up and sink, and then you'll, of course, just be drowned in all of this. And we see that a lot from people in our world where, unfortunately, they don't have a relationship with the divine, and so they let these things eat them up. I'm sure that we all know somebody in the world who's goes from one crisis to the next, and they seem like they possibly couldn't live. They wouldn't be able to exist if there wasn't some crisis going on, because they can't be attuned to the divine wisdom. They haven't found that place, that way to be attuned to the divine wisdom, to be this vessel that doesn't let any of that in, to float on top of it. It's around you. It's all around you, and it's probably always going to be there, and that's just the reality of life. But you, the vessel, you float on top and you avoid it. So our question this week, as you're going through your process, your daily chores or work, just ask yourself as you go along, do I doubt? Do I doubt? Do I doubt that I can be constantly attuned to the divine wisdom? Can I be this vessel that doesn't let any water get into it? Can I never get sank and bogged down? Do I doubt the power that having this faith in me is going to give me? And if you do, then it's time to sit down and re-attune yourself to the divine wisdom, because we know that through our affirmations, through prayer, through meditation, we can become realigned with that divine wisdom and shed off all these things. So use these tools to bail out your boat. You know what? Put all those problems, put all those concerns, put all that disaster back out into the sea where it belongs, because you are floating on top of it. You are the perfect and divine vessel. You are not meant to be bogged down. You aren't meant to be sunk by it. You're meant to just skim along the top, just go by it. Just breeze through every situation and circumstance that might be a challenge, because we, as New Thought students, know that we don't get bogged down by this stuff. We stay centered to the divine, and we overcome. And the good news is that we are all able to become finally attuned to divine wisdom. We are set about on our journey in life to do what is ours to do. So as you go through the week and you're encountering a circumstance or situation that is a particular challenge for you, if you're at the office or the work site and you're not getting along with an employee or the boss, or if a relative calls you and there's some friction among you, or you look in your checkbook and the balance you need isn't quite there, or you visit the doctor and you get a diagnosis that you might think isn't very good, understand that you are attuned to divine wisdom and know what is yours to do. What is mine to do is to stay aligned and attuned to that divine wisdom and not get upset or frantic or worried about this situation. Don't let that come in and affect you. So we go through this journey in life doing what is ours to do, and if ever we have doubt or fear, we turn to the divine within for comfort, guidance, and direction. And from our Old Testament lesson, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust. That is a thing to take with you. In Him will I trust. I will trust that I can always be centered with the divine, that I do not doubt, because in Him I trust, and there's no room for doubt when you trust the divine.